evening, I'm Julia Matthews, president of AFHPPP, which stands for Association for Helping Periodic Paralysis Patients.
Hi, I'm Yuji, and I'm interviewing the president of the AFHPPP. We want to know, what is the periodic paralysis?
Periodic paralysis is basically where your muscles stop moving or working for a certain amount of time.
What gene is affected?
Well, first off, there's two different types of periodic paralysis, hyperkalemic and hypokalemic. In hyperkalemic, the gene SCN4A is affected, and in hypokalemic, that same gene plus the gene CACNAIS is also affected. The mutation is a substitution mutation. The gene is autosomal dominant, which means it's not sex-linked, which means it doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, and dominant meaning that you can get one copy of the gene and still get the disease. There's no being a carrier of the disease.
What's the difference between hypokalemic and hyperkalemic?
Okay, in hypokalemic it's much more serious because it affects muscles in your throat that are used to breathe and swallow and stuff, and the attacks last also much longer. Also, for hypokalemic, there is not enough potassium in the blood, and for hyperkalemic, there's too much potassium in the blood.
So what is the symptoms of the periodic paralysis?
Okay, so for hypokalemic, the periodic paralysis, it's much more serious than the other one. Like I said earlier, it can last from 2 hours to days, really. Like I said earlier, it affects those vital muscles for breathing and swallowing. It can also affect the muscles in your eyelids, which basically means you can't blink and rehydrate your eyes at free will. Also, a condition called arrhythmia can happen, which is basically where your heart beats at irregular beats or too slow or something, just because it's one of those vital muscles that it affects. For hyper, it's not nearly as serious. It lasts about 1 to 2 hours and doesn't affect any of those vital muscles that you really need. It only basically affects your shoulders and your hips.
Is there any treatments for the periodic paralysis?
Well, there really aren't a lot of medical treatments for periodic paralysis. There's one drug called acetazolamide, which is trying to prevent attacks for both the types of periodic paralysis, but it only may prevent attacks. It's not guaranteed that it will help. Also, for hyperkalemic periodic paralysis, things that you can do that might help prevent attacks are don't fast, don't be exposed to cold weather for too long. What else? You shouldn't eat potassium-rich foods and things like that. Other than that, like I said, there really aren't a lot of medical treatments you can do for people with periodic paralysis, which is why people like you sitting at home need to donate money to help people with periodic paralysis.